morning, children. I hope you all are staying safe at home and you're following the lessons carefully. So please do follow and do all the work that is given, children, because it's been very difficult for everybody to come out, and that is why we have to use different methods of teaching. Sometimes we use school boards, and today I couldn't go to the school, so see, I have made another arrangement to teach you. So whatever it may be, it is for your good, because nobody wants the children to stay at home and without education. Your idle brains will be of no use, no. So follow the lessons carefully, and as I said in our previous class, today we are going to look into the chapter, the second unit and A reading part, which is about Sir C.V. Raman. We already know about Sir C.V. Raman, right? You might have learnt in your physics classes, or when you are studying about light. He is one of the greatest minds of India. He is a great scientist from India, and he is the only first, not the only, but he is the first scientist, I guess, who had never been to abroad, and he was a Nobel laureate. So being a Nobel laureate is it is the greatest achievement for any scientist in the world. Being awarded a Nobel Prize is the highest award for every scientist. Anyway, now today we will go through the lesson. Here I have written only the few important points that I have gathered from the lesson. So this is just I hope it is visible to you properly. Even though it's nothing to worry, children, you don't have to write it from the board, because I have already sent you the pictures of this lesson, all the pictures of this lesson. What you can do is you can read through and collect these important points. You can write them in your notebooks, and that is what I did. I have chosen few important points that I felt that should be mentioned. So I noted down here, like when was he born, when did he pass away, and then his education, and what did he discover, then where he worked, and what did he achieve by the end. So all these things are just the basic summarizing the life of Sir C.V. Raman. Okay, so now let's read through the lesson, and then we can try to understand while reading. Okay, so on the busy Bow Bazaar street in Calcutta. Wait, children, before going to read, here they gave a picture here of few scientists, if you can see them. Yeah, so these scientists, I know them. I want you to find out who they all are. We already have few very familiar people here, and I want you to know who these people are as well. So you have to find out who these scientists are and then write in your books. Okay, now I'm going to read through the lesson, children. So on the busy Bow Bazaar street in Calcutta, there was an old building. So they are mentioning a place here, Bow Bazaar street in Calcutta. There was an old building, it seems. It was the headquarters of Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. So that is the place he was working at that time, Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. So what is cultivation? We already know what cultivation is. It is something related to agriculture, right? But here they are cultivating science. What does it mean? Cultivating science is nothing but where a group of scientists or upcoming scientists can work on their discoveries or new inventions or whatever their challenge, their aim. Alright, children, let's continue. Their cultivation of science means nothing but the place where a few scientists or upcoming scientists can work. So they are developing the science there. It could be an invention, it could be a discovery, whatever it may be. They are taking a chance there develop the science and technology over there. So there in Calcutta, in the Bao Bazaar street, there is an old building, and in that building they are working. Like, let's see who are working. In December, on a fine evening in 1927, years are always important, children. Remember them very carefully. In the year 1927, there was much excitement in one of its laboratories. So, when we think about an institution or a big lab, it has several laboratories in it depending on the department. You see, like they say geolab means that lab only consists of the information and the equipment that is necessary for people who study geography. And if science labs, they say, or biology lab is mostly they work with the biological fluids, body fluids, or about the living organisms. So genetics lab. So there are different set of labs in just one building. In many places, like if we take for an example, if we take CCMB is a lab, Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology. That is a big lab in Hyderabad we have, and there they work on lots of genetical problems, lots of drug issues in the sense on medicines. So there are several labs in that own building. So in the same way here where they are working, of course it is in 1927. 1927 we don't have so much technology. Technology wasn't too developed then. But still, in one of their laboratories, when they mentioned that in one of their laboratories, which means that there are few other laboratories as well in the same building, right? So there was a lot of excitement in that laboratory. Let's see what happened. Chandrasekhar Venkatraman was showing a visitor some of his instruments when a young man. So Chandrasekhar Venkatraman is none other than C.V. Raman that we are talking about. So Mr. C.V. Raman was showing a visitor some of his instruments. So obviously in a lab we have certain instruments, right? In school labs we might not have like a whole lot of instruments, but in a working lab or a scientific lab, what do we have? We have very big instruments, you know, like HPLCs, like SEM, Grimm machines. There are a lot of other instruments for each technology to work out. So when there are so many, but given the year, you know, given the time that we are talking about, in 1927, they might not have had so much technology and lot of instruments to work with. But what he was doing at that time, our C.V. Raman sir was showing some instruments to a visitor. Whoever came in, he was showing some of his instruments in the lab. And all of a sudden, a person rushed into the room. Rushing means coming in a very fast way, you know, like at a fast pace. So, and then he all of a sudden rushed into his room and he said, rushed in the announced, Professor Campton has won the Nobel Prize. So what did he say after rushing? He came running and then he said Professor Campton won a Nobel Prize. So one of their colleagues probably, he won a Nobel Prize. So see, if somebody in our street, they did something great, or they are on TV someday for some reason, like for a good reason perhaps, then what we'll think, what we'll say to others, oh, he lives in our street only, I know him very well. Even though we don't know, we tend to relate to it, because there is a person in our street that is very popular today. He was a normal person yesterday, but today he is very popular. And then what we do, we tend to relate to him. Like we tell everybody, oh, he's our very best friend, he lives just beside our house. See, that is how we relate to popularity. Everybody does that. It is nothing wrong, but not exactly a wisest thing to do. But anyway, let's see. Now this person, K.S. Krishnan, the person who rushed into the room was K.S. Krishnan, and he rushed into the room and announced, Professor Campton has won the Nobel Prize. So one of the professors who was working in the laboratory, he won a Nobel Prize. Then Raman was equally delighted. Delighted means he was so happy as if he won the Nobel Prize. Excellent news, he said. So what did Raman say? He said excellent news. Obviously, if one of our friend has won a chance to meet a president, then we will say very good chance and we will be happy for our friend, right? In the same way, Sir C.V. Raman was also very excited and delighted, very happy about the news. And he said, smiling at the visitor, and then he was lost in his thoughts. So he said excellent news, and then he was lost in his thoughts means he is no longer here, like he was thinking about something else in his mind. He was lost in his thoughts. He had so many, because scientists, what do? They keep thinking about lot of things, no? Because they have lot of theories, they have lot of equations to solve, so they keep thinking, their mind will be always working. So in the same way, Sir C.V. Raman heard the news, he was very excited, he was delighted, and then he was lost in his thoughts. He was thinking about something all of a sudden. And then what happened? He said, turning to the young man, if this Compton effect is true of X-rays, it must be true of light too. So whatever that Professor Compton worked on, he worked on X-rays. According to this textbook, what we have, the information we have is Professor Compton worked on X-rays and he proved something. He discovered something. So C.V. Raman was, we already know, we all very well know that Sir C.V. Raman worked on light. He did a lot of experiments on light, how light travels and all those things. So he was thinking, if this one was right about X-rays, it should be right in the matter of light also. So he was comparing, if what Professor Compton did was right, then my idea should also be correct. So he is coming to a conclusion that his theory might be applied to the same theory that Professor Compton has won. Don't get complicated, children. I am just elaborating it too much, but this is just a very precise story of Sir C.V. Raman. We don't have complete details also, but all it says is like he was working in on a Bao Bazaar street in an old building, and what is that center called? It is a Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. He was working in that building, and when he was showing some pictures, when he was showing his instruments to a visitor, all of a sudden Mr. Krishnan came, rushed into the room, and he shouted that Professor Compton won the Nobel Prize. So when he heard the news that Professor Compton won the Nobel Prize, he started to think. He started to think that how his theory can relate to what he has done, what the other person has done. And let's see the next third paragraph. A few years earlier, A.H. Compton had shown that the nature of X-rays changes when passed through matter. The change was dependent on the kind of matter. This effect was called the Compton effect. So the person who won the Nobel Prize, Mr. Compton, A.H. Compton, what he did few years before, he started to work on this. And he started to work on what? And he proved that the nature of X-rays, we all know what are X-rays, no? If something happens, if somebody falls down and if they get seriously injured with their bones or any part of the body, immediately they'll send us for an X-ray. X-rays means nothing but there are different kind of light rays that penetrates into our body and scans. It's not scanning actually, it takes a picture of our internal skeletal system. So that is X-ray. So this A.H. Compton, the scientist, he worked on X-rays, and he said that when they travel, when X-rays travel through different matters. What is a different matter? Matter means, we are going into science, but just for your understanding I am telling you, children. So matter means nothing but, we already learnt in the 6th standard about transparent, opaque objects, all these things, those are matters. Light can pass through transparent materials. but it cannot pass through opaque objects, right? So in the same way, they are talking about the action. Now, Professor Compton was he discovered and he worked with the X-rays, and here our C.V. Raman sir kept thinking about his work, what he was working on. If you let's look into the fourth paragraph, children. Could light also change its nature when passed through a transparent medium? So he started to question himself. Could light also change its nature when passed through a transparent medium? And he was thinking, when light is passed through a transparent medium, will it change its nature? That was the question that Raman asked himself. Means he was thinking about in his mind. For 5 years, he had been doing research in the optics. Optics means light again. So he was working on light for past 5 years. He was doing his research in light, the science of light. No sophisticated equipment was available in his laboratory. So what he is saying is, like, there was no high-tech technology and equipment that he can work with. See, now we have these genetic labs where we have PCR machine where it replicates one's DNA like 1,000 times within fraction of seconds. So at that time, in the year 1927, there was not much available. So there is the equipment was very low tech, and then he thought, like, maybe if we make some modifications. Modifications means changes. He thought it's fine, whatever he had, he wanted to make some changes to those equipment and then try to make it work. So that is what he was counting on. So no sophisticated means very good and high-tech technology held in equipment. So available in the laboratory, but Raman was confident that he could find the answer with some modification in the equipment. So he tried to make little bit of changes to the equipment he has, and then try to figure out what he was trying to prove in science. I mean, depending on what was his concept and what was his research, it was on light. So 4 months later, after this, on March 16, 1928, so 1928, Raman announced his discovery of new radiation. So finally, he discovered a new radiation describing the behavior of beam of light passing through a liquid chemical to an assembly of scientists at Bangalore. So what he discovered was, he found a new radiation, and then he explained to a team of people. Assembly means, assembly of scientists means a group of scientists. Sorry. Assembly of scientists at Bangalore. So where was he based? Where was his experiment was going on? He was in Calcutta, in West Bengal. So he took this experiment. I mean, he explained to a group of scientists who came from Bangalore. So he explained to them. At Bangalore, they say at Bangalore. So he took his experiment and he explained that he found a new, I mean, he discovered new radiation, and he explained to a group of scientists at Bangalore. Then what happened? The world hailed the discovery as the Raman effect. Hailed means, try to understand, like, hailed means praising. So everybody agreed that, okay, there is something, and his discovery was recognized. So the world hailed the discovery of Raman effect. The work that Professor Compton did was named after him as Compton effect. Now the work that Mr. Raman did was named after him only. That is Raman effect. They called it Raman effect. For scientific research in this country, it was a red letter day. Red letter means like a very auspicious, very important day, like a highlighted day. Okay. So his discovery caught the attention of the world. So everybody in the world, all the scientists will be very eager now. Okay, there is something that we did not know all these days, and Sir C.V. Raman figured it out. Like, he discovered that there is a radiation, and what was it? It was in detail here in the brackets, children. It was about the describing the behavior of beam of light when passing through a liquid chemical. When a light is passing through a liquid chemical, then he found a radiation. I mean, he found some radiation, and then he discovered it. So, and that was named after him as a Raman effect, and the world appreciated and hailed his discovery. Means they all were amazed by his discovery. Then, with equipment worth hardly rupees 200 and limited facilities, Raman was able to make a discovery, which won him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1930. Okay, so his equipment, whatever he used, was not even, it was less than, nearly 200 rupees equipment. Now, if we see in our laboratories like in CCMB or any other laboratories, it is way expensive. All the equipment is highly expensive. There some are in about like 10 lakhs rupees worth of machinery we use, and lot of technology is implied into it. So but when Raman was working, he had very limited sources, and with worth of 200 rupees equipment only, he was able to make his discovery, which won him a Nobel Prize. And which was the year in physics? In 1930. In 1930 he won the Nobel Prize. Now let's see in the next paragraph, children. It is about Sir C.V. Raman, like of his birth and all. Let's go through that as well. Raman was born on November 7th in 1888. So when was he born? November 7th, 1888. At Trichurapalli in Tamil Nadu. His father was a college physics teacher. He was a brilliant student from the start. When Raman passed his matriculation, his parents were keen to send him abroad for higher studies. Okay, so now he was born on November 7th, 1888 at Trichurapalli in Tamil Nadu. Then his father was a college physics physics teacher. And Raman was a very brilliant student from the beginning, and when he passed his matriculation is, we don't have it now, but I believe matriculation means it was about the educational qualification of 10th or intermediate. So that is the qualification now if we compare to what matriculation is. And then their parents thought, because he was a very studious student, they thought that they should send him abroad for higher studies. So send him abroad. When Raman passed his matriculation, his parents were keen to send him abroad for higher studies, but on medical grounds, a British surgeon advised them against it. So his parents his parents wanted to send him to abroad to study medicine, not physics, because he's a physics teacher. So, and on medical grounds which means that Sir C.V. Raman, medically, like which is not advisable for him, or he is not medically suitable to go to abroad. That is what it means. So, when Raman passed his matriculation, his parents were keen to send him abroad for higher studies, but on medical grounds, a British surgeon advised them against it. So, a British surgeon means a person, a doctor, right? So, he suggested that Mr. C.V. Raman cannot go abroad. He said it is not wise to send him abroad on medical grounds, which means that his health is not suitable to go abroad. So Raman stayed in the country to do the MA course at Presidency College in Madras. Madras means now we call it Chennai, right? So he was not sent abroad because of medical problems. So he studied MA at Presidency College in Chennai. Science had already made an impression on him, and he began to write research papers for science journals. So because we are talking about his childhood, forget about he won the Nobel Prize already, right? Because this is when he was studying, when he was young. So because he always loved science from his childhood. So what he used to do, because he cannot go abroad, He did his MA from Presidency College. MA means Master of Arts. So he did his Master of Arts from Presidency College. And then what? He used to write journals. There are different, several science journals, children. Like you might not know, but anybody who wants to become a scientist or a researcher, they write journals. Journals means an article about on a topic, uh, medical topic. It could be medical topic, it could be research oriented, anything like the principles or the hypothesis they take from different researchers, and then they write journals. So what did he do? He used to write journals, okay? And when he was only 19, he became a member of the Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. So that's how he got into this department. He was writing journals to them, and when he was only 19 years old, he got into Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. He started to work for them when he was 19 years of age. He became a member of them, okay, member of that society. Meanwhile, respecting his parents' wishes, he took up an administrative job. He was working as a member. He was not a scientist then, okay. He did not start his research by then. What he was doing, he was working because his parents wanted him to work. So he was working as working in an administrative job. Administration means something like an office job, or it could be anything, in the finance ministry in Calcutta. So he was working for the finance ministry in Calcutta, and he at the same time he was a member for the Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. He was a member with that society. So then his interest in science, however, did not flag. So what happened? He was working in the administration department. Administration department does not have anything to do with science. So, but his science, because he always loved science and he liked science, so it's always there for him. Like it did not flag away, it did not go away. He used to spend his hours after office in the lab of the association, working throughout the night. So during daytime he was working in the administrative of the defense affairs, finance ministry. He was working for the finance ministry during the day, and at night he was working for this association, Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. He was working all through night there. In this youth, Raman was mainly interested in acoustics. So at that point of age, because he is very young now, 19-20 years means very young age. So he was mainly interested at that point of his life. He was very interested in acoustics. Acoustics means it is related to music. That in theaters and all, they have this acoustic sweet spot. Sweet spot means that is where the all the resonance is together. The sound is very good there. So any place has these acoustic sweet spots. In a particular room, there is an acoustic sweet spot. So either way, that is not relevant. But I am saying he was so into music at that time, about this acoustics, about the sounds that each instrument plays. So in the science of sound, he studied how stringed instruments like the violin and the sitar could produce harmonious music. Here harmonious is not related to harmony, not the instrument, musical instrument. Harmonious means beautiful, like a very nice, very pleasant sound, okay. So he was much more interested how these strings, we know that violin has strings, no, and even veena, even sitar has lot of strings that they play. So all these strings, how these produce the such sweet and pleasant music. So he was much more interested on sound at that time, at the age of 19 and 20. But later on he studied about light. He left sound and then he went on to light, right? So he was a great scientist. So at that age he was interested in acoustics. Next, he was elected to the Royal Society of London in 1924, and the British government made him a Knight of the British Empire in 1929. So Royal Society of London in 24. So he was elected for that society, okay. And then what happened? And the British government knighted him, KNIGHT, TED. Knighted means here. Knighted means what, children? The soldiers were used to be called as knights. K is silent here. So they are called knights. Knights means soldiers, brave soldiers. So this British government, this empire, always had this opportunity to knight great people from India. And when they are knighted, then they were given the title sir. We usually call everybody sir and madam, but actually sir means it is a honor given to when they are knighted by the Queen of England. By the Queen of England, when a person is knighted, then they are given the title sir. Sir comes before the name. So that is a title, like how we have Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, all these titles, no, the great awardee titles. In the same way, sir is the greatest honor given by the Queen of England to a great person. So he was knighted in the year 1929. This was a high honor for any great scientist. For any great scientist, it is really a high honor. But later on, after the British left India, and there is not much, we had all these different kinds of cultures and language mix up, and we call everybody sir. We take it out of respect. Sir is giving respect, but actually SIR sir is a greatest honor and the title given by the Queen of England to any when they are knighted, when they are recognized to be the knights of the empire in British Empire. Now, so his advice to young scientists was to look at the world around them and not to confine themselves to their laboratories. So here we are coming to the conclusion where Sir C.V. Raman is giving advice. He was giving advice to youngsters. What did he say? He says that to look around. We have so many things to discover, to invent, to do so much about it, to learn so much about it. And he says, do not get confined. Confined means fixed into us, confined to the laboratory is what he says. Confinement means like putting ourselves a boundary, keeping ourselves inside something. Like, see, some people are very judgmental and some have their own boundaries, like they set time to time, which is good of course, but there is sometimes you have to have an on and off. So here they have like everybody has to come home by 7 o'clock, everybody has to wake up by 4 o'clock. Having discipline is different from being confinement. Confinement means they tend to become antisocial as well. They don't tend to mingle with everybody. They live their own life. They keep very closed and they are very introverts. So here what C.V. Raman is saying, like he's not talking about being introverts or anything. He's saying look around, there is so much to discover, there is so much to invent, and at the same time he's saying do not get confined to your own laboratories. Like, don't just sit in your lab and keep working. Look around, go around and find something new. Okay, the essence of science, he said. So he wants everybody to find the essence of science. What is there in science, the basics of science. He said is independent the essence of science, he said, is independent thinking and hard work, not equipment. So he says the essence of science is independent thinking and hard work. You have to think on your own about it and you have to do a lot of hard work about it. And not equipment, machines, and those are not which works on them. It's your mind and your individual thinking that has to bring you up, bring out the talent in you. That is what he says. Next, C.V. Raman was the first Indian scholar who studied wholly in India and received the Nobel Prize. I think we discussed it before. Sir C.V. Raman was the first Indian scholar who studied wholly in India. Means lot of scientists, they did half their Indian scientists did their education here and they went abroad and they studied at different places. But Sir C.V. Raman studied completely, all his education was in India only, And then he was the first scientist who studied all his education in India, and then he won Nobel Prize. He was the first Asian and the first non-white to win such a award in science. So he was our first Asian to win. So Asia is a big large continent, right? It has so many countries. So amongst the whole of Asia, he was the first person, and he was non-white. Non-white in the sense he was not either British or from any other European countries. Okay, usually whites are those who are born in Europe. All the Europes are called whites, like even Americans are called whites, but not Asians. Okay, so they have this color creed. So he was the non-white and first Asian to win such a great award. Nobel Prize is the best. I mean, it is the highest award any scientist could win. So he was the first Asian, and okay, he passed away in 1970 on November 21st. So he passed away. So I wrote here. He died on November 21st, 1970. But his memories are with us. Of course, his memories are with us, isn't it? Because his effect, Raman effect, is studied till date, and we know how it works. So from school level to from degree to post graduation level, everybody who are in science and who are especially in physics departments, they know Raman effect. So he is always with us when we are talking about light or all the effects, how light travels. Now, but his memories are with us. February 28th, the day on which he discovered the Raman effect, is celebrated as National Science Day to commemorate his remarkable achievement in science. So, the day he discovered the Raman effect, we celebrate that day, 28th, February 28th, we celebrate as National Science Day to commemorate. Commemorate means recollect. To keep remembering, commemorate. So it is like keep remembering the greatest achievement an Indian scientist had made on that day. He is not just the first Indian, but he was the first Asian to be awarded Nobel Prize. Okay, so his remarkable achievement in science. So we celebrate National Science Day on February 28th to commemorate the discovery of Sir C.V. Raman, which is the Raman effect. So let's have a recap, children. The lesson is already sent to you. So all you have to do is read through it once again, and there are no difficult words in it, and it is more like a simple story. But it is not in detail as well. See, we did not have any information about Sir C.V. Raman's family or anything. Apart from that, his father was a physics teacher. That's all we know. So the first three paragraphs, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see. The first 5 to 6 paragraphs, it was a point in his life where he was working in the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science, where he was working there, and one of his colleague, Mr. Compton, A.H. Compton, was awarded Nobel Prize for X-rays, I mean the studies on X-rays. And then he started thinking, I mean the reason that the Compton information was given here is to tell us how he was inspired, how his thought has come into his mind about studying light. He was already studying light for 5 years then on optics, right? The study of light. And then what happened? So this gave a new idea, and then he started making changes to his equipment, and then he finally discovered about how the light rays, when they are passing in a liquid chemical, how its nature changes, and it causes radiation. That is what he discovered. And with this discovery, there is how he was awarded the Nobel Prize. And when coming to the last paragraph in this page, and page number 24, where he says where he was born, what did he study, and why he could not go abroad. Initially, I mentioned to you that his parents wanted to send him abroad for medical education. It was wrong. It is wrong, children. His parents wanted to send him abroad, but due to medical reasons, he could not go. because everybody has to pass through medical test if they have to go to abroad. Now we don't have medical tests for Europe and America, but for other Arab countries and all, they need to have medical tests. So previously, I mean in the earlier days also, they used to have medical tests, and due to some health issues or something, he was unable to go. One of the British, while he was working for the Ministry of Finance Ministry, he at night time he used to work at the Indian Association for Cultivation of Science. Along after working at night, like after that, like after a few years, what happened, children? Like he started, because he, although he was working in the finance ministry in the administrative department, his interest on science did not go. So finally he started working what did he start working on? The acoustics of musical instruments. He started his interest of science in sound at the beginning, and later on he probably changed his mind to the studies on light, and he won the he discovered the Raman effect, and then he was awarded the Nobel Prize. And he was also elected for the Royal Society of London in 1924 by the British government, and the British government made him a knight. That is very important, because that is the very highest recognition for any scientist, children. So he was he was knighted by the British Empire in 1929. Then he advised and he gave some suggestions, like to the young scientists, what did he say? Not to get confined to the laboratories, not to stick to the laboratories. He says, look around, there is so much to look around and discover things. And then what? So he said his quote, the essence of science, he said, is independent thinking and hard work. You have to think independently, not to depend on any other's work. And then not equipment. We should not depend on equipment, that let it do the work and give me the result. It is how your brain has to think how the machine works. So independent thinking means individually you have to have your own ideas. So think about it, and that is what he's saying. Now C.V. Raman was the first Indian scholar who studied wholly in India, and that is another important point, that he did not go abroad and study or gain knowledge. His all his education was in India itself, and then he was the first Asian and first non-white person. So which means that all that while, I mean until then, there were only whites and other people who won the Nobel Prizes, and he was the first non-white and first Asian to win the Nobel Prize. But then what? So he passed away in 1970, but we still have his memories, right? Because we are celebrating the day he discovered, he named the Raman effect. We are celebrating that day as a National Science Day, which is February 28th. So, day to commemorate his remarkable achievement in science. So, we have glossary also, children, like about 14 words. So, this also is sent to you. So, all you have to do is read and understand these words. I will read them out for you once, and then that's it is for today's class. This is a very small topic. Identify and find out the scientists from the first page, and then learn the glossary and read through the lesson once. It is very simple. So it will be very easy to remember, and it is a very good topic as well for you to learn about a great scientist, great Indian scientist, right? So let's read through the glossary once. Lost in thought, giving all your attention to something so that you do not notice what is happening around you. So that is what I said, like lost in thought means thinking about something, and you don't care what is happening around you. Transparent, allowing you to see through. So we have transparent sheets and all those, we can see through. Glass, we can see through, no? So see through the glass. So that is what. Sophisticated, advanced and capable. Equipment, the things that are needed for particular activity. Equipment means something, say kitchen equipment. If we say kitchen equipment, the things that we need in the kitchen to cook or do something. Now modification, change, discovery, the process of finding things that was unknown, that was not known about before. Discover means they already exist, but we have to find it. You know, until somebody finds it, we don't even know that something exists there. Discovery is different from invention. He discovered that when light passes through, this happens. Whenever light is passing through liquid chemical, some change is occurring. The nature of light is changing, or that radiation is creating, but nobody discovered that before. It is happening every time, but nobody discovered until Sir C.V. Raman discovered it. Invention is you prepare something with different things, like you invent, you create your new thing with your own ideas and using some equipment, right? So, red letter day, an important day. Red letter means it's just an idiom. So, it's an important day. Surgeon, a doctor who is trained to perform surgery. Abroad, you already know abroad, right? It's a foreign country, something that is which is not our motherland. Flag, decline, become less. So his interest on science did not flag away. That is the sentence, right? So flag away means it did not go away, it did not fly away somewhere. It is still there in his mind. Although he is working, he still had that interest in science. Stringed instrument, any musical instrument with strings, violin, sitar, etc. Knight, a man of high social rank, a person with the title. So it is the highest rank there in the British Empire. Confine, being restricted to, like making yourself some boundaries, having boundaries for yourself. So this is it for today, children. We'll look into the vocabulary part and other grammar parts in another class. So for today, you have to identify the scientists and try to identify them and learn about them, and at the same time read the lesson through. All the lesson through you have to read through. Read through, and that is it for today's class. Do take care, children, and follow the lesson carefully. Okay, thank you, children.